cafe anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 2204, 2204. And yes, today is 222.
Mike's Daily Podcast
21. And I have not been on this podcast for over a week. It's been because I had to spend some time cheek to cheek with my lovely lady friend because it was her birthday. And we did a lot of fun stuff. Like we went to that area over there above the, what do you call it? The Point Reyes.
Mike's Daily Podcast
Point Reyes, I think is what it was. Stinson Beach, that whole area. It was fun.
Mike's
I strongly advise
Daily
that you go check it out
Podcast
because you will enjoy it.
Yeah!
Lots to see. Delicious food. What else? There was animals. Yaks. Oh no, it actually was a musk ox that we saw. I'll have to post a podcast picture of that at some point. Dillon Beach. Yes, and now I realize here at Cafe Anyway, everybody's got masks on. Although it's interesting, are you seeing less and less people wearing masks? I'm finding out more about people that I know that are getting the vaccine. And it's interesting. I'm starting to, for the first time, I'm really feeling, well, I would say last summer, I started to feel like, oh, we might be coming out of this. And then all of a sudden it got worse. But let's see. Oh, as a matter of fact, 25% capacity in New York City movie theaters to reopen next month with mask requirement and social distancing. But gosh, that is huge. That is profound that is happening. Also, small businesses with fewer than 20 employees are going to get exclusive access to PPP loans for 2 weeks because Biden has changed the PPP rules. And you know what I've noticed?
And here's today's podcast picture.
It's now, if I were a conservative talk show host, this would be the time that I'd start whining about the media. I haven't talked about Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh passed away, as you well know by now. But that was his thing, the drive-by media. He coined that phrase, and feminazis. But he would say that all the time because media wasn't giving a fair shake to what he was espousing. Oh, did you ever see when Rush had his own late-night talk show? He did that for a while. I think it was in the early 90s. And it's tough. Yes, Basil. I know you never saw it, so why am I bringing it up? I don't know. Oh, we went to Stinson Beach, and Basil never had been to Stinson Beach. And so we brought his ashes, the late great Basil the Boxer. His ashes were at Stinson Beach. We didn't spread them there or anything, but we took him there along with us. It was so wonderful. It was a beautiful day. Hardly anybody was there. I will have podcast pictures of that. But the podcast picture today is of Dillon Beach. So Stinson Beach is a little bit north of San Francisco. You cross the Golden Gate Bridge, and there you are over there, Sausalito. And then you head towards Muir Woods in that general direction. You're at Stinson Beach. You're on the Pacific Ocean. And there's cliff after cliff after cliff. And then all of a sudden it opens up. And there's these huge, just enormous mountains and pine trees and suddenly an open pasture. And people are, what do you call it? They're hang gliding, but with the paragliding is what they're doing. Paragliding. And they're jumping off that mountaintop and landing on the beach. We saw 3 people do it. It's fantastic. What a place to visit. So we spent some time there. We also saw some sea lions hanging out, not in the Pacific Ocean, but there was like a lagoon that was sheltered from the waves of the ocean, and they were all hanging out there making interesting noises. We saw a place called, and I've just lost the, darn it. I'll think of it later. But Dillon Beach shows further north of Point Reyes. And in fact, there's this place called Tamales Bay. And this is on the opposite side of Point Reyes and that huge peninsula. It's on the opposite side of the bay. And that's a picture of me on the beach enjoying the fun. Was Rush Limbaugh's late night talk show, which I tried watching and tried to figure out if it was funny or not. And, he wasn't really a comedian, but it somehow didn't translate well, his radio talk show, which is true. That's why I find it fascinating when a lot of podcasters videotape their shows. Why do I want to, or not videotape, but video tape isn't involved, I know. But they video their podcast. I guess people are watching it. People are paying extra to see the special exclusive video. But I've just found that, like, if I'm going to watch TV, I want to watch something like things blowing up or murders being solved, like Midsomer murders, which we're being sucked into watching those again. My lovely lady friends had never seen those. I watched all of them, I think. But rather brilliant. It's done in the sort of Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot type of way where you have all these interesting characters and a murder takes place and anybody could have done it. Yes, it's kind of like Clue. But there's all British people, and Midsomer is a part of England. I think this is how it translates. That is all inland, sort of your country folk. And they're all interesting and eccentric. So that's fun to watch. And so we've been watching that and enjoying my lovely lady friend's birthday. And I had to get all set for that because I had to get the car checked, had to do all kinds of stuff at work. But my team did so well. I'm very proud of them. And I know one of them listens to the podcast. So kudos to you for doing such a great job while I was gone. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Silly Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. What I saw a lot of were those outdoor heaters, because a lot of people were sitting outside, of course, because of the coronavirus. And we're outside now. And I had to turn on a couple of heat lamps because it's getting a little chilly. It was hot today in Podcastro Valley, but in the evening, it gets a little chilly still. Not as chilly as other places in the country, as you well know, but a little chilly. Okay. Masks. Masks are, for the time being, still a part of everyday life for most of us, still in California. I went for a walk in Podcastro Valley, and I kept a mask on for most of the walk. However, and I only did that because people were suddenly popping out of their cars right in front of me, or they're walking on the sidewalk and the sidewalk is small and I can't step out into the road to be 6 feet away from them, so I just leave the mask on. However, I did see someone driving on the way to Stinson Beach, and this is, those curvy hairpin turn roads on the sides of cliffs, and the wind is blowing off the Pacific Ocean really hard. And these people, I saw this one guy driving a car on one of these hairpin turn roads, and he had a mask on. I'm thinking, you have got to be kidding me. You must just love wearing masks, because there ain't no coronavirus that's going to catch you as you're flying down the road 70 miles an hour on these hairpin turns and the wind's blowing, and I just thought it was ridiculous. But a few tips from the experts at Johns Hopkins to minimize some common problems associated with mask maintenance. If you develop skin irritation or blemishes or maskne, use a gentle cleanser when you wash your face in the morning. Use fragrance-free detergents to wash your mask. That's what I was wondering about. Like, I basically have to wash the cloth mask every day, right? To clean off whatever coronavirus might be attached to it. But they say here, use fragrance-free detergents to wash your mask. An over-the-counter hydrocortisone cream once or twice a day can help on your skin. Make sure your makeup is labeled non-comedogenic. See, that's how often I wear makeup, is I can't say non-comedogenic. If the problem persists for more than a week or two, make an appointment with a dermatologist. Mask cleaning. Reusable masks can be washed in your regular laundry using hot water. Okay. Like I do laundry that often. And disposable masks should be thrown away when visibly soiled or damaged. Really? So I don't have to... their disposable masks aren't like that, like a disposable diaper. You don't just throw it out right after you've worn it. You can still wear it? Is that what you're saying? If it's not visibly soaked or damaged, visibly soiled or damaged, I can still wear it? I guess that's what they're saying here. Cut the elastic ear straps from disposable masks before discarding, as hundreds of tangled animals have had to be rescued. Have you heard about that? Not to mention, what is that when you're walking over to your car and you're about to get in your car and you look down and there's a mask, a disposable mask just laying there on the ground? Or I've seen masks that weren't disposable, that were cloth, reusable, just laying there on the ground. That just irritates me. Why? So a little bit of that today. Wanted to talk about that's from the Costco connection yet again. But what you need to know about vaccines in Australia. That's something interesting that I heard from someone yesterday, that Australia, they are doing such a good job with the coronavirus that a lot of people are able to get back into movie theaters and restaurants, because when somebody would have a case of the COVID-19, they would be everything would get shut down in that town. They had a vaccination program launched on February 21st. So yesterday, more than 142,000 doses of the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine have arrived at the Sydney airport. Prime Minister Scott Morrison and CMO Paul Kelly were among the recipients of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine on Sunday. But that's all I got today. I'm going to wrap. I'm not going to go into... I got so much to talk about. I found this fantastic YouTube channel with these guys, these young guys that go camping all kinds of places and interesting spots, and like they are botanists. They know what every type of plant is, and they shoot it all in that amazing HD, and it looks great on your flat screen if you have YouTube capability with your flat screen. I'll talk about that soon if I remember. Please remind me, won't you? You can call me at 336MM Daily. That's 3 + 3 = 6. MM is in Mike Matthews. Daily isn't with this podcast. We'll try to start being again. We have taken a little time off, but Valentine's Day was fun. The trip was fun. My lovely lady friend's birthday was fun. It all happened at once. So much to talk about. We'll get to it, hopefully. Look who's here.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, good chef supervisor. I got a little heart for Valentine's Day.
That's great. That was over a week ago, so who cares? Look who else is here. Whoa, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer, Mike. The heaters out here are putting out a lot of thermal heat. A lot of therms. A lot of therms. Okay. It's a great name for a band. A lot of therms. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Do I have poison ivy on the back of my leg here? I used to get it all the time when I was with Basil, but I've been... Oh, I guess I was kind of near some poison ivy over the weekend. All right, well, hopefully that'll work out. I hope for the best for you and for me.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!